Okay, so in today's video, I just wanted to keep it real short. I wanted to explain that I was wrong about cinematic mode on the iPhone. Cinematic mode is actually amazing. When I first heard about cinematic mode getting released on the iPhone 13 Pro, my first thought was, okay. Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Tom, and if this is your first time to this channel is all about cameras and lenses. So if you're into that, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. And if you feel like helping out a small YouTuber, a like would be highly, highly appreciated. Okay, let's get started. Today's topic: cinematic mode on the iPhone. In particular, the iPhone 14 Pro, which I'm recording this video on. Now, I don't mean to alarm you, but I've actually bought a new lens, which I think is gonna be my number one lens, actually. You know which lenses I have, which Sony lenses I have, but I've actually bought a new one. I just ordered it. I'm not gonna reveal which one it is. I'll leave it to you to guess which lens I bought. So, there's a mind challenge for you out there. So, when I first heard about it and I first saw the result of it, I was like, well, it's nice, but it doesn't look that much better than Android devices, right? But then again, you know, I will hand it to Apple. When they do something, they do it properly. Like when they release this cinematic mode, it just looks really, really good. It's not perfect, but it looks a lot better than anything that Android devices can do. The idea of the cinematic mode is to, you see this background blur. I'm in focus and the background is blurry. That's it. That's cinematic mode in a nutshell. It can shoot in 24 FPS or 30. And recently I've started to shoot my videos on 30, which I'll make a video about on another video. That makes sense. Also, I do have some bad news, so I'm gonna get into that in the end of this video, so it's not to distract you from the topic at hand. But if you're interested to know what that bad news is, stay until the end. But what I wanted to focus on in this video is to talk about why on earth should you shoot in cinematic mode? What is the upside? I mean, it's not real bokeh, right? It's not like you're shooting with a full frame camera and you can get that nice, rich, creamy background blur. Like, it looks a bit artificial, perhaps. I don't know. I personally think this looks pretty good, to be completely honest. But there are actually two reasons why I think we should all start to use cinematic mode on the iPhone. So, let's get into it. The first reason being is that while, yes, cinematic mode is made on a smartphone, it's not real bokeh, it is still efficient. But the most amazing part about this cinematic mode, this bokeh right here, is that I can actually change it in post-production. That's right. I can actually go into the file and I can change the bokeh effect, because sometimes, even when I shoot on a full frame camera, I've noticed that sometimes the bokeh is a bit too much. It looks ridiculous in a way. Sometimes you just want a little bit of bokeh and that will be the end of it. Now, on a full frame camera, what you shoot is what you get. You can't change that. But on a smartphone like the iPhone 14 Pro, you can change it. So I think that alone is worth the feature. Now, the second reason why I think you should use cinematic mode is right now I'm not shooting in cinematic mode. This is just regular 4K 30 FPS, and you can see that the background is a bit blurry, but it's not blurry enough, and it's a dead giveaway that this was shot on an iPhone or a smartphone. But when you use cinematic mode, I mean, come on, look at that. That looks really good. So it sort of creates the illusion that you're shooting your video on a different camera than a smartphone. Now, I'm not the person to tell that smartphone recording vlogs is bad. Like, I think that smartphones look really good, but sometimes the production value just seems a bit off. And sometimes when you have a high quality channel like TS Camera Gear, you want to, keep that production value high. And you can't really do that on a smartphone unless you use this little gimmick. Let's be honest, cinematic mode is a gimmick, but if you use it, it can actually be quite efficient. Now, gimmicks are a lot of fun, and the thing to remember about gimmicks is that while there are just fun gimmicks for normal people, if you're a creative person, you can actually do something interesting with them. Know what I mean? Now, personally, having a blurry background in your video is not always something that looks better. But sometimes there can be something like practical reasons for shooting with a blurry background. Maybe you want the viewer, the audience, to focus on you who are in the frame, and you don't want them to focus too much of something distracting in the background. So let's say right now I'm shooting, it's autumn, it's fall, and you got a lot of leaves in the background. Now it looks nice, it looks cinematic and all of that, but maybe it's a bit distracting from the content itself. I want you to listen to me, listen to my voice, and not pay attention to the distractions behind me, or, people walking by or stuff like that. So that's the practical reason for using cinematic mode. I said I was gonna mention 2 reasons to shoot cinematic mode, but those are actually 3 reasons. Yes, I can count. I just thought of the last one last minute, so yeah. Okay, so it's time for the bad news. The bad news is that this is actually the last video of 2022. I'm not gonna release more videos this year. I started off this channel about a year ago. I think it was something in October, November last year, 2021, and it's been going great. We have more than 1,000 subscribers. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Warms the cockles of my heart. It's amazing, great feeling. But yeah. It's the last video of the year, and the reason for that is I've been doing YouTube videos for a really long time, like 10 years or so on different channels. And making YouTube videos, I thought I heard something. Making YouTube videos, as fun as it is actually quite taxing on your mental state. I love making YouTube videos, but I do need to take a break, and sometimes I need to force myself to take a break. So for the last couple of years, I do this thing every single year where November, December, I'm off the grid, man. Like, I turn off social media, I delete all social media apps. I'm completely off the digital grid, and I do it as a way to boost my imagination. It's a way for me to get more creative. It's a way for me to make better videos, and that's why I'm doing it. But I will be back next year, beginning of January. I like making videos on this channel, so I will be back. And I would also like to remind you that I do have other channels. I have a personal vlog, Tom Skrillius. I'll put a link in the video description so you can check it out, where I talk about all sorts of things. And then I also have a tech channel, TS Tech Gear. If you want to see videos on other tech gadgets other than, smartphones and cameras and stuff like that. So check it out. Links will be in the video description. Anyway, it's been a ride this year. So thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you so much for commenting and liking, subscribing, of course. And I'll see you in January. Take care. By the way, before I end this video, there is one more thing I wanted to try. It occurred to me when I was making my review videos of the iPhone 14 Pro that I hadn't given Action Cam a good run for its money. So normally I just walk when I test out the Action Cam, but this time I want to try to run in selfie style. Let's do this. Wow.